Well, hello, welcome to day number 5, tip number 5 for this week on mental health awareness. Atai-Wiechert here of Energize Me. And today I've got lots of tips within this one tip. If you happen to see my post earlier today, you will have noticed the title, Getting into Gear. Daily disciplines. I mentioned about the daily disciplines in yesterday's video. So what could that mean? Well, of course, this is all geared towards mental health and how you can help yourself on a daily basis to get into the right mindset, the right flow, allowing your body to be in a relaxed mode. And if it's not in a relaxed mode, you know what you can do to get there. Okay, so I'd like you to think about how you start your day each day when you wake up in the morning. You know, we all are in the habit of doing very specific things. Are you somebody who has their alarm on, springs up out of bed, gets into the shower quickly, etc., etc.? Do you need to get out to work by a certain time and have a very small window of time in which to do that all in? Are you in a position where you could get up just that little bit earlier to allow yourself to, change that routine very slightly, add some well-being strategies to your day so that you get into gear and get into that gear that will help you to remain in focus and in the right mindset? If I think of what I do each morning, I'll take you through that, but I'm going to give it a particular strategy for you so that you can make some notes if you like. We're going to be here just that little bit longer today because I'm going to give you lots of value here. Make sure that you've got some things to take away with you. So on average, let's just say a typical scenario for getting up in the morning would be, yes, hearing the alarm, getting up, going to the bathroom, having a shower, having breakfast, grabbing a cup of coffee. Perhaps you're somebody who doesn't even have breakfast. And therein lies already the first challenge for you in terms of getting into gear. Because what are you expecting your body to do if you're not giving it any fuel? One thing that I like to refer to when it comes to fuel, I refer to the body quite often as the vehicle of life. And your body is going to need some kind of fuel to keep it going, to get it started, to keep it going, and more than just a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So I'm going to approach this from a body, mind, and spirit viewpoint, and just mention with regard to what I do first thing in the morning is, if I do have an alarm, and quite often I don't, I quite deliberately allow my body to wake up when it's ready to. I have the luxury of being able to do that. Not everybody does. But nevertheless, the first thing I do is pull up the blinds so that I can take a look out of the window, open the window and grab some fresh air into my face. And yes, in the winter as well as in the warmer days, warmer spring and summer days. As soon as I put my head out of that window, I then hear the birds, I hear what's going on out there. I live in an area where it's very peaceful outside. It's a quiet and relaxed area. But even if I were in a busy city, it would help me to open my mind, open myself to being awake. So I do that just for about a minute. And I settle myself back to then either look for a meditation or to write in my journal. I'm going to take these present these now in very specific ways. So the reason for the meditation is to not just relax, but to get my mind into a place of focus And quite often I do that just by doing some deep breathing to begin with. And if you're not somebody who is used to meditation and you wouldn't know where to start, the best way to do that is with a guided meditation. And when I'm finished here, I will be sharing with you a link to just a 5-minute guided meditation that focuses on body and breath. And you can use that at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, maybe even use it halfway through if you could do with a 5-minute break at lunchtime or at some other time if you're feeling stressed. So I do a meditation, and the other thing that I do is write in my journal. I just have a very basic notebook. Each morning I write in here, and I use it sometimes as just a gratitude journal. And at other times I use it very much like a dear diary. I might record something that has happened, but I reflect upon it. And so therefore I then take that into consideration so that I can really examine what has happened and what my learnings are. If something hasn't gone the way I would have liked it to go, and I didn't quite get the message, in the moment then, this gives me an opportunity to review and to see where I am within my emotions, my feelings, and to write something that is then helpful to me, but also in appreciation. And gratitude plays a really, really big role when it comes to mental health, because when we are in a place of in a negative mindset, when we are in a place of despair, often it's very difficult to find something to be grateful for. And when we are in those moments, the best thing to do is to just look around you to see what you are surrounded by. You can begin with yourself, with breath itself, because obviously without breath there is no life. But just think, if you've got a comfortable bed that you have spent the night in, your a lovely cushy pillow that you cuddle into, and your duvet, whatever it is that you cover yourself with at night. When you go into the bathroom, opening that tap and having water just at your disposal like that. Not comparing yourself to other people, but just to be grateful for these very, very basic things. As you begin to notice more and more things around you, this is where you can then really feed into those feelings of gratitude and appreciation. And as you do more of that, and as you do it on a regular basis, you will notice that your mood will change, it will lift. So, as I mentioned, I wake up, I open the window, I put my head out, I say thank you to the day, thank you for another day of opportunity and breath and life itself. I do a meditation, I write in my journal, and then I'll go into the bathroom and have my shower, etc. I will always have a healthy breakfast. I like breakfast, I like my food, I love to eat, I love a variety of food, and I change things around during the week. So I don't have exactly the same thing every single day. As I mentioned, I like variety in my life, and I find that if you're having just that coffee or tea and the same cereal every morning, well, how is that interesting to your life? How is that giving your body a variety of nutrients? It isn't. So I'm now going to approach the body, mind and spirit way of giving you these tips. Lots of tips within these three. So what can you do with your body, or how can you support your body that then supports your mind and your mental health? Well, here's one thing for a start, and that's water. And that's another thing that I do first thing in the morning, because I always have a glass of water by my bedside so that I can drink and cleanse my body when I wake up. And I thank the water when I'm drinking. I thank it for cleansing me. I thank it for hydrating me. I thank it for nourishing me, for giving me clarity of mind, for energizing me, because these are all the things that water does for us. So if you're somebody who doesn't like drinking water, you could always add a little bit of lemon or some other flavor, preferably nothing with sugar. And that will give you, that will make a difference to your mental health as well. Stress can be induced just from dehydration. Did you know that? Okay, let me take a sip whilst I have the glass in my hand. A couple of times a day, what I add to that water is vitamin C with zinc. These are effervescent tablets, very economical. I normally get mine from Holland and Barrett here in the UK. You can get them at your local supermarket. They don't have to be expensive. And of course, that will boost your immune system as well. That helps to keep your immune system strong. It will strengthen, not boost, strengthen your immune system and help you with regard to viruses out there. But it's also very good for stress. So if I were to say to you, did you know that, or did you know how much vitamin C your body loses just in one episode of anger or severe stress? Would you know? Well, believe it or not, one major anger attack can deplete your body by with as much as 3 grams of vitamin C. That's a huge amount. So if you're in the car and you're on the way to work and you've got some road rage going on, you know, you are literally depleting your body of vitamin C. Also, of course, depending on your diet, etc. So those are 2 tips right there. You've got the water, the vitamin C. I have 2 to 3 of these a day, and each tablet has 1,000 milligrams, so 1 gram of vitamin C and 15 milligrams of zinc. So it keeps me going. I've already mentioned breakfast, so I alternate things. I'll have poached egg, or I'll have muesli, or I'll have something really super healthy on one day where I'll have eggs on a bed of fresh spinach, things like that. If you don't have time to prepare that kind of a breakfast, think about what you could do the night before. So for instance, you could soak a bowl of oats, and oats are really, really healthy for us. So moving on as quickly as I can, because I'm aware that time is slipping by very, very quickly here. Exercise. I am sure you have heard that for mental health, it's really important to exercise regularly. You need to get that body moving to get the endorphins going. And you will get more of that feel-good factor as you move your body. When you are sitting and you're in a, if you, for instance, have a job where you're at a desk all day long, your body goes into this shut-off mode in a way, in that, because you're not moving it, and so therefore blood flow is not as good as when you are. So you want to get that blood flow going. Your brain is affected by lack of movement as much as it is by movement. So what kind of exercise? Think about what really brings you joy, what you like to do. And I'm going to come to that also when I'm talking about spirit. So I'm going to move on now to mind. So I've already mentioned to you what could you do to get into gear by getting your mindset focused right away in the morning to help you throughout your day. Well, I've mentioned meditation and I've mentioned journaling. Okay, so these are 2 really great ways of feeding your mind in a way that helps you to start your day in a very positive manner. So it helps with concentration, it helps with focus, it helps energize you, motivate you, and also it keeps you relaxed. So just those two things are really, really helpful for your mind. If you use public transport to get to work, you might want to do something like a Sudoku, a puzzle or a word puzzle, the usual kinds of things that are good for the mind, or read uplifting articles, not the regular news that you hear in mainstream media. You want to make sure that you feed your mind with something really positive first thing in the morning so that you are in an uplifted mindset. Okay, moving on to what you can do for your spirit. And this includes your emotional health. So if you have been following me at all for a while, if you know me at all, you know one of my very favourite pastimes, which give me for my body, mind and spirit, is walking in the woods. If you haven't heard about the benefits of what is known as forest bathing, I highly recommend that you look it up. Have a look on the internet. There are so many benefits that are involved in that. It's a very healing environment. Being surrounded by the green of the trees, the forest itself, the sound of the birds and wildlife is very healing to the human body. We are connected to nature, and when you walk in the greenery, when you are in the woods, in a park, you know, it's a wonderful way of feeding the spirit, the soul, and calming your emotions. Now, if you don't have anything like that close by, perhaps you're somewhere, you know, in a climate where you're near to the sea or to lakes or to rivers. Would you be able to get to somewhere like that where you're hearing the sound of water? If you don't have anything like that in your environment, and you're stuck in a city and you're just surrounded by, you know, high-rise buildings and cars, etc., what I suggest is that you find a quiet room. And you find a quiet room and you find some music. And music is another great healer. Music that has some nature sounds, frequency music with the 528 love frequency, for instance, or the 432 healing frequency. These are amazing. And if you just sit for 5 to 10 minutes, if you could do 15 to 20, oh wow, that would be absolutely amazing. And you would really get the benefits of that. You know, plug your ears in with some headphones and listen to forest sounds, to the sound of the sea, rivers, etc. Very, very soothing, very healing to the spirit. And the other thing about music that I wanted to mention to you is make sure that you have a playlist that will lift your mood, that will soothe your mood. I think sometimes what tends to happen is when we are in a place of depression, feeling low, we have a habit, as humans, we have a habit to then go and listen to music with the kinds of lyrics that feed that. And it doesn't really help us. It actually puts us further into that state of depression. So if you've got a playlist at hand, and I don't mean necessarily all upbeat pop music, because if you're in a low place, that's not necessarily just going to lift your spirits like that. A playlist that is soothing, that is going to help you to gradually shift your mood, if that makes sense to you. Now, last but not least, what else can you do for your emotions, for your spiritual health, that will ultimately lift your mental health, that will strengthen your mental health, that will provide emotional resilience? All activities that you love with your heart. So again, if you know me at all, you'll know that I love to paint. And painting is not something that I've done my entire life. Now you'll see some of these paintings in the background here in my office. I've not trained for this. This is not something that I went to art school for. This is something that evolved kind of its own accord. We're talking, gosh, 6 years ago now. Can it really be that long? I went through some pretty major events in my life. I had about 4 major upheavals, traumatic events inside of a 3-month period. And let me tell you, I was in a really low place myself. But my saving grace at the time was that I had already started to do a lot of meditating. I was listening to quite a lot of spiritual videos and podcasts and music. And one day I just had this incredible urge. I was doing a declutter. Let me just share this quick story with you. If you haven't heard it before, I was decluttering this particular office. It looked very different at the time. And I was under my big corner desk picking up things that had fallen off the floor. And I came across this little piece of paper with the words, "Let go, let God." Hands in prayer position with those words. And as I picked it up, I just felt this really strange surge in my body, and I received a message, a knowing, if you like, that I was to take these words and this image and create my own artistic interpretation. Now, I didn't know what any of that meant at the time, and I thought, wow. And after a couple of weeks, this was becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And I'd had a conversation with my daughter on the phone, and she said, "Well, Mummy, look, I've still got some art materials in my room." My daughter lives in California these days. She said, "Just help yourself, do what you want with it." And when that calling, if you like, became so strong that I couldn't ignore it anymore, that is precisely what I did. I sort of ransacked her room, grabbed some art materials. Now, in your case, you might not have anything like that at hand, but I bet you have some felt tips. I bet you have some colouring pencils that you could just grab, and just some regular paper. And I began to just go within. And I had some beautiful, beautiful music on, and I just let go. I just channeled into my emotions, my feelings, and I looked at the colours that were before me, and I started to use those on the card that I had found. And from that moment onwards, it was all very, very abstract, and that my very first painting was sort of like flames coming out of out of the ground, if you like. And that was my let go, let God. And it was like the rebirth of the phoenix. It was just and from that point on, I just kept on channeling into my emotions. I would always have some beautiful music on in the background, whatever my mood was at the time. And sometimes it would be just instrumental. Sometimes they were songs which I absolutely loved. And so this is what I encourage you to do. What are the kinds of things that, even if you haven't done them in a long time, think about what you used to really connect with, and the things that would really feed your spirit in the most wonderful of ways, and see if you can tap back into that. And think of other things which you just love to do. And it might be that you think you don't feel like doing that right now, but as with anything, practice really plays a big role in this. And I can only encourage you to just start with a little bit at a time. And as you feed that, you'll notice how you'll want to do more of it. So these have been my tips for today in I've sort of expanded upon, you know, the daily practices, but the things that get you into gear. And when I say get you into gear, it really means get you into flow, get you focused so that you know where you're headed. You know, if you were to get into a car and turn on the engine, you still wouldn't get anywhere if you wouldn't get it into gear, whether that is, you know, an automatic that you have to shift into drive, or whether it's, you know, a manual gear stick where you've got to go first into first gear. And your focus has got to be going to that destination. And when you don't know what that destination is, this is where you then begin to feed your body, mind and spirit with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it starts to build. There's that roller snowball effect where it starts really small and gets bigger and bigger until you begin to feel the opening of your heart and feel those wonderful emotions, and you're in a different place. Now, it might be that you need some support, you need some guidance in this. And, you know, it's all very well having a few little tips in 1 week, but if you're in a really, really dark place, or if you're just looking for some guidance and support in just going to that next level, just get in touch. Either, you know, send me an email, have a browse on my website, join me for our wonderful new series of therapeutic art and music sessions. My next set is starting in just over a month's time, and starting on the 16th of June. And what I've done, I'm repeating them on a weekly basis, so that you know, if you're not sure and you don't want to sign up to the all 4 weeks all in one go, you can join me a week at a time and then just rotate as you wish, as you please. So there's something else that I can support you in. You know, coaching itself or nutritional consultation. There are lots of things that I can support you with. And rather than just tell you, you know, do this, do that, the best way forward is to have an assessment, to see where you are, and to put a strategy together that is personal to you and that will benefit you in the best possible way. So that is truly it for now. I've been speaking for almost half an hour. I hope that what I've covered today has been really helpful to you in some way, and even if, you know, in only a small way. You know, as that slogan goes, every little bit helps, and it certainly does. So think of that snowball effect. Start small, and I wish you the very, very best moving forward. And I look forward to hearing from you. Please, you know, if there is something in particular that you'd like me to cover in, you know, future videos, posts, give me some suggestions. I'm happy to listen to what you need, what you need support with. So that's it from me for today, for this week, this Mental Health Awareness Week 2022 in the UK, and for the month of May. Atai-Wiechert of Energize Me. Looking forward to serving you further as time goes on. Bye for now.